Welcome back to Ascending Asha. I'm Ashley. I know my lighting sucks. The ring light is still in the room. We're gonna do a collective check-in using the Yin Yang Oracle. Look, this is my oldest deck, and my box is like this. And I just went to grab it, and all the cards fell on the floor. So you may be feeling annoyed or frustrated. Maybe there's just some like little things happening. That's when I feel the most frustration. I can handle like big stuff for the most part. I mean, I'm always gonna have a freak out, but eventually I'll get it figured out. But the little stuff really bugs me. And whoa, okay, so cycles and completion and toxicity bound and patterns are facing the opposite way than everything else. I thought that I got them all facing the right way. Okay, so let's go from there. What toxic cycles are you that wasn't like a no, it was just me literally clearing my throat. Sorry about that. Detachment, cold, shadow side, dark side of the moon. Listen to Pink Floyd's Stoned. It will help you. Sun, strength, and empowerment. You know, maybe you're having a hard time through this dark night of the soul energy. Maybe you're just cold and detached at this time as you go through your dark night of the soul. I've made a lot of content about dark nights of the soul. Train. I don't usually tune into those, but I am now. So if you need support with your dark night of the soul, there's plenty of stuff over here. Shadow work, integrating shadow work, daily decolonizing. I don't know what else I've named playlists, but there's a lot of content about these things. Contrary to the, name of it, Dark Night of the Soul does not just last one night. It is a process. It can last months, weeks, years. Depends on how much shadow you have to go through. It depends on what you've been through. It depends on what you have done yourself. The Dark Night of the Soul is an inventory of that, what has been done to you and what you have done to others. You can kind of think of it as like, I don't know what you believe religiously, but right now I'm getting like the process of Judgment Day, where a lot of people Hollywood especially. I watched this show or this movie yesterday on Netflix, The After Party of Afterlife or something like that. It was really sweet. Oh my gosh, it touched my heart. But all that to say is there's like a review of wrongdoings, right doings, things that have, made you a victim, things that you've overcome. And that's what the shadow work is. That's what the Dark Night of the Soul is. It's your process of that. That's the only way you're going to really be able to fully break these chains and end these cycles, is by integrating your shadow. Especially in these times where we are up against like pure evil. I think, maybe you are someone who sells organs on the dark web. I don't know. But you're probably not. And so, all that to say is like, whatever you've done, what has been done to you, you move forward with strength. You embody it so that you have more tools in your tool belt to deal with challenges and struggles, because that's what we get in this realm of existence. We are constantly bombarded with struggles and challenges and lessons, and how we navigate that stuff matters, okay? So one thing about that is remaining grateful and present, and staying in a space of abundance or a space of manifestation, knowing that regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what you've done, you're always going to be provided for, especially if you're doing this work. The universe is always going to look out for you. That can look like a lot of things. It can look like finding, a $5 bill in your pants before you put them in the laundry, right? Either way, finding some pennies, finding I don't know, coming across nice, kind-hearted people, things like that. Those are like little winks from the universe that are reminding you to stay present, stay grateful, so that your abundance can continue to come in, okay? The dark night of the soul can be heavy, and I mean, that's different for everyone, right? It depends on, again, what we've been through. But just know that the sun will come out. The sun will come out, Annie. Strength and empowerment in the sun. This picture gives a really good visual of the sun and like your darkness and that balance within, right? So yeah, do your best to, you know, if you do need to, it is a good idea to be cold and detached around others if you are like balls deep in this process, because it's not a fun process, it's not easy, and a lot of projection can happen if you're not careful. Or you can also pick up on projections of others and work through that when it's not yours to work through. We have regret and repression coming out, so you might just need to take a little bit of time for yourself. We have rejection, loss, fragmented, so these are more of the shadow aspects that could be surfacing for you or things that you may be ignoring. We have truth and expression. You don't have to do a podium speech, but be honest with yourself about the things that you've encountered or done. You know, you can keep a journal or you can just like write it down. A lot of the times in this work, it's important to make the intangible tangible. So by writing it down, you're allowing it to like leave your nervous system and like your subconscious. You can write it down, you can burn it. You know, if you're like nervous about having evidence or whatever, take care of that. You don't, and move forward differently, right? Move forward with the intention of this growth, summer and growth. Okay, again, the sun. Sunshine, the weather is sweet. Isn't that Bob? Makes you want to move your dancing feet. Regret, repression. Truth, expression, fragmented loss, rejection. You know, shit is just normal human feelings. It's the behaviors that can get kind of wonky if you're not careful. So, but we all go through these feelings, right? We all have these feelings. We all have experiences that have made us feel less than, you know, to one degree or another. Remember that the universe or whatever you believe in will not give you anything that they don't think you can handle. So get out of that victim mentality and recognize it for what it is, as strength, as tools, as knowledge, right? And really embody that. You will have a lot of support if you do that. Okay, we have fire energy coming out, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. It doesn't need to be a zodiac sign by any means, not in this deck. Fire energy is what, the mental or the spiritual. So maybe you're just not connected to your spirituality at this time, and maybe that's, I mean, the dark night of the soul is, that's the space that you begin in. It's like your rock bottom. Okay, so that's like, I have nothing else to fucking believe in. Let me try and call on whatever it is I was told about, or call, you know, God, whatever it is, whatever word you want to use for the higher power. I mean, that is, so maybe that's speaking to this, I think nose itching means confirmation. I don't know. Fuck. Okay, so, so fire energy, just be careful that, like, you don't burn yourself up, right? I did already speak about maybe doing, like, a burn ceremony, getting rid of these things once you've processed through them or acknowledged that they're there. Not necessarily a whole process, but, yeah. We, there's a lot of good stuff coming for you if you continue to do this work, we have Remember Awakening, which is this process, the process of coming into consciousness. I did a video about, I think it's a collective convo about diving into the psyche. If you want to understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about consciousness, go watch that. It's on the collective convo playlist. Okay, so I need 2 more cards. 2 more. Whoa. I'm not even that tired, so. These are 2. That's 3. Okay. We have Alchemy, Ancestors. So when you're feeling lost, call on your ancestors. If you haven't done the colonial lineage work, or like decolonizing or breaking cycles for your said colonial lineage, don't call on them. Do that work first. But that's also a part of the... Oh, shit. It's also a part of the dark night of the soul if you do have colonial lineage. Meaning if you're a white person or have Euro or like colonizer blood in your blood, part of your shadow work is to break those cycles, is to acknowledge the wrongdoings of your ancestors and course correct that for your lineage. I do that too for my family. I'm the only one. You can't see it. I got this little cast on. It's a black sheep. It just drive me crazy. The color orange, so your sacral chakra may be important. Your sacral chakra is like your creative energy, the womb area. If you have a womb, otherwise that's your like life force energy. Okay. So call on your ancestors. You do have decisions to make. Yellow is your solar plexus. So like the lower half of you. Holy fuck. That's what I'm looking up. Hang on. Yawning as a spiritual... A release of negative energy or a sign of spiritual awakening is what yawning. Okay? Also do some lion's breath I'm getting. I do that with yoga, like where you stick your tongue out and you're like breathe like that. You know, allow yourself to feel tired. I think that's been a big process for me the past year or so. I quit coffee, wow, almost 2 years ago. I mean, it'll be 2 years ago in the fall, because I really wanted to quit smoking, and I was like, the caffeine is making me like fiend for nicotine. So I had to quit coffee first, and I drink black tea now, or green tea, which does have caffeine. That's it. I don't drink any other caffeine. But anyway, allow yourself to really tap into your body and what your body needs. Remember that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. The reason I went like this is because I was getting the word entity, but entity has a very negative connotation. So you're a being who is here in this physical for a very small amount of time compared to like the universal divine timing sort of thing. Okay. Hootie just sneezed, so I'm going to focus back on what I'm doing here. The process of awakening needs a lot of self-care. It needs you to be aware of your energy. You may feel like smudging. Oh, that's interesting. Those are towels. I thought it was like a sage bundle. Sage is a close practice for indigenous folks to the Americas. If that's not you, don't use it, okay? Forming structure and solid foundation is what we're after, right? We have this celebration and gifts. What is that? Celebration, gifts, and abundance. You have abundance twice coming out. Presence and gratitude also has abundance. So do whatever you can to stay in that energy of abundance. Anytime you feel lack, really tap into that and be like, why am I feeling this in this moment? Is this the truth, or am I projecting a certain feeling of shadow on my physical reality, right? I have done collective combos about lack mentality and victim mentality. Those two go hand in hand. I mean, they're two separate things, but usually if you're experiencing one of them, you're experiencing the other. There's a reason, there's like this reciprocal relationship between feeling lack and feeling victimhood, right? And the goal is to really find this transcendence and unity within self, right? And again, decisions coming out last. What are you choosing for yourself? What are you deciding to do differently? What do you know doesn't work for you? As you work through all of these feelings, that is the reason, is to make different choices as you go. You're always one decision away from an entirely different reality, right? I saw this ambulance and I was like, I'm gonna buy that. I could have said no, and I still would not have that, right? But I chose to do it. So just an example, what are you holding yourself back from? What decision can you make to completely shift or alter your reality? And what work on the inside do you need to do to kind of give you that, I'm getting reflection, but reflection works. So like, whatever work you do on the inside, your physical reality is going to reflect that back to you. Right? And that's where that scarcity and lack mentality can come in and kind of, if you're experiencing certain things, take a look at your emotional stability garden. Like, are you tending to your garden? Remember the saying, you reap what you sow. That has a very garden connotation about it. What kind of things are you doing about your emotional, spiritual, and mental body? And physical as well, right? Those are the four things. You can relate those to the four directions. You can relate those to the four elements. I mean, that's what the tarot does, the four suits of the tarot. If you'd like me to break that down, I do have a cheat sheet here. So earth energy is pentacles in the tarot, and that is a representative of your physical. That is the direction north, and the planet Gaia. What is your relationship to Gaia like? Are you littering? Are you consuming? Are you recycling? Are you things like that? Are you aware of how you take care of the earth, right? Do you take care of the animals? Do you take care of plants? Things like that. Your air energy is your swords in the tarot. That's your mental. That is the direction of east, and that is about invention, doing things differently. The sun rises in the east. What can you create, right? Water is cups in the tarot. That's your emotional. That is the direction of west, and that is your intuition. Okay, so what do you know to be true? And through the dark night of the soul, your body is going to tell you, right? We're over 80% water in our bodies. So maybe get into water, but you can utilize any of these elements to support your healing. And no, you're not a witch. You're a person who is recreating your relationship with the world around you. That's it. And fire, remember we talked about the burn ceremony, is the wand energy in the tarot, and that's your spiritual, ruled by the direction of south, and that is your feeling. Like, how do you feel spiritually? Do you have a short circuit? I do. I have a temper. But I don't try to stay in that. Remember, once you integrate your shadow, you acknowledge your shortcomings, your darkness. But without darkness, there would be no light, right? Think of the yin-yang. So it's just about finding this balance within you. No big thing, chicken wing. It is a process, though, and it can be grueling if you resist. Think of it as a ride, right? Think of life as a choose your own adventure, and you're on a ride, and you're on this roller coaster, and you're like, oh, which way should I go? right? Okay, well that way has like a 50-foot drop. I don't really know if I want to do that. This way looks like it's going through a scenery, right? Choose what you want for yourself. There's no right decision. It is what it is. You are who you are. And everything will work out, you know? Just trust and believe that. As long as you trust and believe that everything will work out, and you do the work, it will, okay? Mr. Hoodie. Mr. Hoodie is like 15. I have some big girl decisions to make in the next couple days, so maybe you're experiencing that too. With decisions here, I think we all are. I want to pull just a couple of these to leave you feeling elevated. Sure, go ahead, eat an edible, I don't care, obviously. Alright, that's not what I meant though. Faith, oh that's funny. Elevated and it's a leap. When you leap, the net appears. The moment that seems the longest is the one just before you land. I'm getting that movie Divergent. When Triss jumps. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, right? These are some of the slogans I keep in my head. So like that's the thing. Yesterday our daily discipline was reciting affirmations. That's how I rewired my brain. So you know, whatever that looks like for you. I'll start a short project about affirmations. I mean, I've done a bunch of other ones that are essentially affirmations. These were inspirational insights. If you want to go see that playlist, we went through the whole deck. So I've done a lot of that stuff over here. I'm still doing it, so go ahead and check out some of those shorts, okay? Deep dive, you have only just started to learn your soul's depth. What truly matters will rise to the surface. So that's talking about the process of the dark night of the soul. Again, look at the contrast between the light and the dark. Okay, and the last one I'm going to leave you with is advance. Follow your dreams one step at a time. Little steps add up to big things. Just keep going.